It's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Moose Jaw, Canada. Welcome to my Tuesday tutorial at 9 p.m. on Tuesday, October 20th. I'm just going to get linked up to the iPad so I can see if any comments or questions come through. Let me see. Where am I? There we are. By the way, this is Snugs. He says hello too. We had a better day when we were cutting paper for Christmas card class. Yesterday didn't go so well. Today was better, but we still have some cutting to do. So I'm going to be, I'm going to be getting Snugs to help me out and be leaning on him to help me get paper cut for this class this week. It starts tomorrow, so tomorrow afternoon. So we better, we pitter-patter better get this finished. So these are a couple of the cards. I'm just thinking, are these even going to show up in the screen? Hopefully you can kind of see them. And there's a bit of a theme going on here. I don't know if you can see the theme. Oh, I think you can. Yeah. The theme is snow. And I guess it's my fault then that we got snow today. Snugs and I were busy getting ready all of these snowy cards, and yeah, we woke up to snow this morning. So yeah, my weather word for the day actually isn't a word. All day long I've been getting little tunes going through my head like, oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire, those kinds of little tunes, those kinds of little ditties. So it's just saying hello to a few people. There's Pam from North Carolina. I bet there's no snow there. And hi to Pam. And Brenda's hopping on. Hi, Brenda. And hello, good evening to Sheila and Linda and Elaine and Darlene. So, glad you could join me this evening. And big news this week, I have a brand new iPhone. So I think that means that you will not lose me because my phone can't hold a charge, and you will not lose me because my phone is overheating because it's processing so hard trying to create a Facebook video. So hopefully be good for the next few months at least, hopefully a year or two, get a good few years out of this phone. So that's been some excitement for this week. I have a draw to make. Earlier today on my Facebook page, I asked people to show me their cutting plates from their die cutting machine. Now, I don't have mine right here, but they're just like here. Okay, well, I don't have both of them, but here's one of them. It's all nice and scratchy and yucky, and it's supposed to be that way. Not to begin with, but it's supposed to take all the cutting and the blunt, or the sharp force, not blunt force, the sharp force of those dies, and so to protect the machine. And so I challenge people to post pictures of their cutting pads, because there's something to be celebrated. When you've got a cutting pad that is all scratched up like this, that means that you've been using your die cutting machine a lot, you've been making lots of cards, and probably lots of people have been receiving cards from you too. So that's a good thing. So we're going to hold a draw here for somebody who shared a picture of their scratchy cutting pads, and we are drawing for, these were from last year's Christmas catalog, the 12 Tidings Glitter Enamel Dots. And neat thing about this is, even though these glitter enamel dots are not available anymore in this year's holiday catalog, the paper that coordinates with them is available, and the paper is on sale right now, 15% off. It's part of the DSP sale that's on. So good luck to everybody who posted a picture of their cutting pads. I've got all your names in here. instead of using the random wheel online, I just thought I'll do it the old-fashioned way, and I'll draw from the box like this. All right, so I'll give this to Snugs. What does it say? Oh, yay! There we go, the winner. Oh, you probably can't see it down there. Faye Molesbury, congratulations. Thank you for showing us the picture of what your well-loved cutting pads, and I have some mail that will be coming out to you. I think I even have your mailing address, Faye, so I'll be able to send that to you. Because yeah, I have to get going on a card that's supposed to be coming your way too for a swap that we're in. Okay, well, I think that's all I was going to do from this angle. I'm going to get turning the phone down so I can do some stamping with you tonight. And I should just take a look. I think there might have been a few more people to say hello to there. Oh my goodness, yeah. There's another Elaine and maybe Kathy. Yes, Kathy from Colorado. Well, I know the smartphones are great at how they spell people's names for sure. And hello to Glenda and Pam. You wish they would have kept these dots. Yeah, they're very pretty. They have like little glittery pieces in them, and they're certainly perfect for this time of year with Christmas card making. Hello to Lydia as well. Okay, so here we go. Gonna turn the phone down. Avert your eyes if it makes you feel a little bit of motion sickness. Okay, and try not to touch any of the important buttons here so that I accidentally turn you off. Okay, there we go. Whew, okay, and I'll just do this up. Oh, look at that. There's a picture in a picture, and I don't exactly know why that's showing up. Huh. Wow. Well, we'll just go with it, and hopefully everything is working out from your end. Just on my phone, there's a little picture-in-picture, and I don't know if that's a new phone thing or not. My phone that I got is an iPhone, and it's called an iPhone SE. I don't know what the SE stands for, but basically the person who was selling it to me said that it's got the case of the looks of the case with the button at the bottom, like my old phone, and I'm used to how that works, but it's got the workings or the guts of an iPhone 11. Because I said to them, well, yeah, if I get this one that's like my old phone, with the button and stuff, does that mean that I'm already, in 5 months it's going to be obsolete? And they said, no, it's got the workings of an iPhone 11. So I hope that will help it to stick around for a while. So it's been a few weeks since I've shared a funny with you. I don't know how well that is showing up. I'm hoping that you were able to see that while I was getting the phone turned down. And I'm just rearranging where my iPad is so that I can see if any more questions or comments come through. So yeah, make sure you craft. Look at how the dinosaurs turned out. There we go. Okie doke. So before I get going with my card making project, I was just going to share with you an aha moment that I had today in storing my embellishments. So I keep my embellishments in our stamp cases. Some of them, like rhinestones, that I have like lots of packages of rhinestones and pearls, and some of those basic things, I keep them like in the wide stamp cases, like the thick ones. I don't know what they call them in the catalog, extra thick or something like that. But I keep them in the cases, and I think a lot of you have seen that before. It just helps, keep them tidy and separated. But what I discovered today is that, when you get here, I'll show you with the rhinestones. When you get to a sheet of embellishments and you start like, well, that's not very handy. Like a little rhinestone there and one there, and then okay, there's another little sheet, and there's like 4 there and 2 there. It's so annoying. And then you're like, they're all, you know, at the bottom of the plastic bag, at the bottom of the cellophane bag. And so I went into my stash. Like, I save every single one of these little, what would you call that? It's sort of a canister style, or like a little plastic tin style embellishment container. I save every one that is emptied from that. And now I've started like putting all these little itty bitty embellishment pieces. I don't need to keep all this extra stuff. And yeah, putting them into the little case like that, and that just fits inside the big case, and that just made me so happy. So the ones where there's lots on the sheet, I'll still keep those on the sheet, but these little bitty ones that are just left over and are annoying, now they have a spot and they're not rolling around inside of a plastic bag. And for this one, what was really annoying with the elegant faceted gems here was that this bag that they're in is really long, and so I had a few floating around at the bottom, and it's hard to, you have to dump them out. And so I got 2 of these little plastic cases for these elegant faceted gems, and I put the pink, because I had lots of pink left over, in one, and the white ones and the clear ones in another. So those kinds of things that helped me to get organized really make me happy. So I just thought I'd share that embellishment storage idea for you. Okay, so today I'm going to be chopping up some designer paper, and some of you who participated in a super team stamp camp this past weekend may have seen this demonstrated by one of our presenters. So, but I've got my own little take on it that I'm going to share with you. And the paper that I'm going to be using today is the Poinsettia Petals, or is it Poinsettia Place? That's it, the Poinsettia Place. And my friend Lori LaRose, who had used some of this on the weekend, really reminded me, well, she reminded all of us who are watching, that it's got a very rustic, natural tone to the designs in this paper. Whoops. Here, I'll show you the backs of the paper here. And yeah, really rustic and natural. And I mean, it could be Christmas, but it's just very woodsy. And she reminded us how well that it coordinates with something that's rustic and natural, like a moose punch. So I'm going to be combining these 2 items today. And just as I had mentioned earlier, there's the Poinsettia Place designer paper. It's on sale, 15% off. So in Canada, it was $15.75, but right now until the end of October, it's $13.39. So keep that in mind if you like that paper or any of the others that are shown in the flyer here. I'll be referring to some of these later too. So I'm going to work with, I had a page that was all ready to go. Let's see, maybe it's still in here. Oh yeah, this one. This one with the pine cones. And then on the back, oh, I keep coming up and hitting the camera there. It has some more greenery as well. So this one's a little bit, this side of the paper is a little bit more subtle, and this side, it's a little bit more pronounced with the pine cones. So I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer. Oh, Kathy, I'm glad you like the storage ideas. Sometimes all it takes is just little things to make me happy. I am going to cut this paper down into sections, pieces that are 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And so some of you who have maybe followed people like Kylie Bertucci, who have done the Love It, Chop It, this is along the similar idea that Kylie and those Love It Chop It gals do, except I'm just, instead of doing it at 4 inches by 5 1/4, I'm doing it 3 3/4 by 5. Okay. Whew, I'm having trouble talking tonight. All right, I think it'd be better if I just get making and stamping. So 3 3/4 for each strip of paper. And there's a little bit left. And this can sometimes be used on the inside of the card or as a band to go around something. There's always something those pieces can be used for once you put your mind to it. And now I'm going to be cutting it at 5 inches each. So in a whole sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock, you'll get 6 of these chunks of paper. I'm going to take both of these pieces and I'm going to cut them together because our paper trimmer is, the blade is strong or sharp enough that it can go through 2 pieces of the designer paper. It's a little bit thinner than the cardstock. So there we go. 6 pieces for 6 cards, just like that. And Kylie Bertucci has some really good ideas about cutting your paper up right away as soon as you get it, like ripping open the plastic and taking it out and cutting it up so that it's ready to go for cards. And again, she even suggests that you can take these plastic stamp cases and store your pieces in there. So then when you go to make a card, it's not a daunting task of, oh, I've got to find some paper and what, you know, you just can pop open the case, grab a piece. And then the other thing that she suggests is once your paper is all cut up, you can cut out this piece on the back where it lists all the different colors, and you can tuck that into the case too. In fact, I think she even makes like inserts that can go into these cases, like the inserts that they have for stamps, and you could tuck that insert right in there, and then you know exactly, okay, what colors are going to go with this paper. And in case you're wondering what's in the poinsettia place, well, it's not too much in this piece here. There is some bumblebee, there's more yellow in some of the other pieces, but then there's garden green, old olive, there's some real red in the pieces that have the berries, soft suede, and then the neutral color in there is whisper white. So now I'm going to show you a couple different ways to cut these pieces up. And for those of you who participated in my Mystery Card Monday, some of you saw these pieces cut up in different ways, but you might be wondering perhaps what the dimensions were for cutting them, or you might be wondering how it was cut, and I'm thinking of the diagonal one, without needing to like get out a ruler and a pencil. And so I've got some quick and easy tips for you that way. And I'll share some different ideas for cutting this up. Just checking my comments here. Hello to Sharon and hi Cindy in North Dakota. Hello to Nadia if you're there. So with my piece of paper, that's 5 inches by 3 3/4. My challenge was to cut this up into 4 different chunks and use it on a card. So let's see. Going this way, oh, I'm gonna have to do some math here. 3 3/4 divided in half. What is half of 3 3/4? Let's see, it's gonna be a 7/8. Something like, is it 1 7/8? I think I'm gonna go with that. Yeah. So 1 7/8, and then half of 5 inches is 2 1/2. So there's 2 1/2. So this piece of paper is our garden green, and it's 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches. So just the 1/4 inch bigger in each direction. And you can take and you can mount your pieces just like that for the card. And you can just, if you like the look of the particular pattern on that side, I'm just putting a card base underneath. So that's the regular card-sized base under there. You can add a sentiment and whatever decorations. The other option is to turn, oops, I think I want to go this direction, 2 of them over so that you get alternating with the front and the back, and you get a little bit more interest in the visual pattern. So that's the first way that you could cut a chunk of designer series paper. And I'm just going to show you, I received this card from the Mystery Card Monday from Elaine. She participated yesterday, and you can see how she's got this cute Halloween card with the little ghosties. I love their little smiling faces. I think this was maybe the Halloween paper from last year. It's not this year's, I don't think. This last year's or the year before. And then she used a great label to put her greeting and the bats in the middle. But yeah, she basically did that in half one way and in half the other way, and she turned hers to a portrait orientation to create it. So just in half one way and half the other way is one option to cut your DSP. That you can love it to pieces in that particular way. So another way that you could do it is cutting it again parallel to the sides that are there, but cutting it, instead of exactly in half, is cutting it in a third one way and a third the other way. So I think when I was doing this, my cut in this direction was at, the long way was at 1 3/4. And then cut again in the other direction. And this one I think is at something like 1 1/4. This doesn't have to be exact, but just kind of that general idea to get sort of 1/3 in this section, 2/3 in that section, 1/3 here, 2/3 there. So then, you can take and play with your papers and lay them down like that, and you've got another option for arranging them on your card front. So same size of paper, you've just cut it slightly differently. And instead of having like that focal point right in the very center, then you've got the focal point sort of in that corner. And that can be a really nice way of creating a card. The focal point in the center can send a very kind of strong message. If you do off to the side in that third of the corner there, it can be, I don't know, it's just very easy on the eye. It's kind of everything, you know, done in thirds seems to be really easy to take in. And so the card that I did for Mystery Card Monday, I did one of them. I did actually 3 cards that for that I posted yesterday. But yeah, that's the one that I cut into the thirds like that, just along those parallel lines. So again, you can leave your papers just showing the design that you've got there, or you can have 2 of them that you turn over and show off the other side of the paper. And I really like that when we make projects that you can see both sides, because our paper is very, very nice. Oh, thanks for sharing, Cindy. I appreciate that. So moving on. So that's another way that you can love it to pieces, and just with a simple 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece of our designer paper. So I'm going to go on to one last one, that I shared from yesterday for Mystery Card Monday, and how I learned to cut it without having to use a paper and ruler and all that kind of thing. So this last way that I shared on my Mystery Card Monday samples was cutting diagonally. And the first cut's really easy, but the second one, you want to go here and match up with that corner. And these are a little bit trickier because, I mean, you might be able to do it, but it kind of wants to move around, and you want to make sure these corners are matched up, and you want to make sure these corners are matched up. So one idea that was shared for our stamp camp was that you could use washi tape, because washi tape is temporary and it just could hold it in the middle. But another option is to use a sticky note and just get that held in place temporarily. So then you can line up, there's a corner in the cutting track there, and there's a corner in the cutting track there. And yeah, I'm using the right one, that's the cutting. And there you go, you've got 4 pieces, and they're all nicely aligned and ready to be glued down onto your card. So now I'm going to finish this card with the diagonal cuts, and you can see what I come up with, because I said I was going to use that moose punch today. So I'll finish this one up and give you an idea of how this diagonal cut might work for you. But there are lots of possibilities, and you might come up with, you know, your way of making it your own. So I'm going to turn these over like this. If you have patterned paper that has like a definite top and a bottom, you'll want to make sure that you've cut your paper the right way, and you may have to turn it from the landscape orientation to the portrait orientation, depending on which way the pattern runs. Mine's pretty general. I think these pieces could go in any direction with these natural branches. I've found when I was gluing these pieces down, I liked going back to my liquid glue, because it does give you that little bit of time to wiggle the piece around and get it in place. So I'll start gluing this card together, and you can see what I'm going to be coming up with here. So something like that. It's hard to get. I should almost, you know, I thought about this earlier. If you know, okay, Seal Plus is not maybe a good choice for this, but it's just what I happen to have close by. If you have the regular seal where it's not quite as strong as of a hold, you can just put a little bit on the back, and you get like a temporary, hold it in place till you glue it down permanently, so you can see where you want all your pieces to go on your project. Okay, oh, there's a nice little piece. I didn't want to get too much. There. Now I I don't have to worry about those little side triangles moving around so much. Okay. But they're still holding there, so I have a better idea of where I'm going with this. All right. So just out of curiosity, what is your favorite Christmas paper in this year's holiday catalog? Kind of curious. There's a lot of papers out there that people either really, really like or really, really want to avoid, and I'm curious which side of the fence that you're on. I happen to really, really love this poinsettia place paper, and I think I want to get a little bit more of it so that when I hold my Christmas card class in November, that I'll be able to use some of it for those cards. Because I think after today, I don't think I should do any more snow cards, or we're going to be up to our neck in snow until Christmas, the way the weather is going this week. Jackie likes the snowflakes blender. Oh, and Cindy, I'm glad you like the tip for cutting the diagonal. I've been stamping for almost 18 years, and I've never cut my paper this way, or if I have, I can't remember doing it. I'm pretty sure I haven't. So that little tip of using a sticky note or the washi tape, I thought was fantastic. Denise says you like the snowflakes blender and then the toile tiding. Okay. And Kathy says, I really like the colors in the snowflakes blender DSP. Yes. Well, hey, I should show you this card. This was posted from Mystery Card Monday yesterday. There we go. So there's the cut on the diagonal and the snowflakes blender paper. And it just done exactly like this. Like I showed you how to do the diagonal with like the temporary sticky note or washi tape holding it, and then flipped to the triangles over to show the other side. So that was fun to do. And the other one that I did, and I'm not really sure I like this card because it's so bright and whoa, it's really vivid. But it was just fun to make. This uses the something town paper. I've already forgotten what it's called. But yeah, it's got Christmas greetings in all kinds of languages, and there's little houses in it. It's really cute for the houses and the trees. So this one was a little out of my comfort zone, but it was fun to play around with. Okay, so finishing this up, before I glue this down onto a card base, and I'm going to glue it onto a soft suede card base because white just seemed too bright. White worked really well for this, and with the light, you know, there's those very soft blues, but the white was just too stark for this pattern. So that's why I decided to go with the soft suede. And I'm going to do, because I want it to kind of keep with the rustic look of the paper, I'm going to use some of our linen thread. So we'll go there, just like this. And I want the linen thread, I think I want it to be going across the middle of the card. So I'm just going to glue one end there and one end there, something like that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be so perfect, just twined across. Yeah, that's a real word, right? Yeah. Okay, there. And now we're really gonna glue it down well. This will hold everything in place. Alrighty, here we go. Oh, Darlene, I'm glad that you're enjoying the tips. It just seems like, yeah, I'm always learning. And this stamp camp weekend that we had, I know all of those ladies, they're all wonderful stampers. And I was so surprised at how much I learned that I didn't realize that I would have known before, even though I've known those gals for quite a while. Okay, now I've cut out some pieces. This piece here, this label it's the second largest one of these curved ones from the Stitched So Sweetly dies. And I actually ran it through, I think it's called the Touches of Texture something like that, touches of texture, embossing folder, because again, I wanted it to be a little textured and rustic and kind of have some of that charm to it. So when I ran it through, you don't see the stitch lines as well around the outside, but I really wanted, yeah, sort of a touchy-feely look to it. Cindy says, one of the pine cones from last year's dies would look nice in the middle of this card. Yes, yes, those pine cones would look lovely with this paper. And I mean, they look gorgeous with the poinsettias, which are part of the bundle that it's featured, this paper is featured with. But yeah, what my friend Lori pointed out to us on Saturday was that this paper can extend well past Christmas, especially if you have people who are campers and nature lovers and all that. So, okay, going to glue this on here. You know, this twine makes it so it's hard to glue flush. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use glue dots to put this down, because glue dots have just a tiny bit of lift to them. That will add a little bit of extra, come back here. That'll just add a little bit of height at the back. My goodness, I'm getting glue dots all over today. There we go. All right. So something like that is kind of sort of centered. Now, as I was playing around to make this something to stamp on the center, a little kind of label piece, I played around with this label, Have a Cozy Christmas, and then I stamped some of the trees, and it kind of like that. And then I played around with this label that is part of the Stitch So Sweetly. It's just the next one down in size here. And I kind of liked that. I played around with this label. I didn't like the shape of it quite as much. And then I pulled out a punch that I haven't used very much and just started playing around with it. And that is this rectangular postage stamp punch. And I learned something about it. I'll show you what I learned. After you punch your regular size piece, oops, you can, oh, will I be able to do this? I did it once. You can pick it up with take your pick tool. What I want to do is move it over. Okay, we're gonna have to start again because it's, okay, this is the other thing you can use with your take your pick tool, is the pokey part. Oh boy, I've really put that down in there. Come back here. Okay, let's try again with the sticky stuff. Oh, the lid is already off. Okay, so I scrunched the corner, but that's okay. That's the corner that I'm gonna cut off. So you thread it in again, and this is where you might want to use the take your pick. Oh, I don't know if well, maybe I'll. Okay, you move it so that, and you look at how those little, I don't know what they are, those little divots in the corner line up. And you pull it down so that you line up the divots on this side and on that side. I'm not doing a very good job of this. Okay, Snugs, I think you better get over here. You'll do a better job of this than I am. There. Here we go. It worked really well the first time I did it. Now it's not going so well. No, I think I need to be one more down. come here. Okay, there, like that. There. Have I got them lined up? Oh my goodness. Okay, here's another trick. Okay, don't do as I say, do as I, here we go. We should have done this all along. Okay, so this is the part that I want to cut off. There. Now I've created a handle. This is going to be so much better. Okay. Don't use your take your pick. That's too hard. Okay. Lining it up at the top with the bumps and lining it up at the bottom with the bumps. Okay, just hang on a second. This piece is a little too wide. Got to make my handle a little bit narrower so that it'll slide through to where I want it. Okay. Line up, line up. Here we go. Here's the 3D portion of my video. Whew. Okay, we had to work for that one. All right. So, yeah, so you can make a the whole thing is that you can make it a regular size postage punch, or you can punch it to smaller pieces, and don't worry about the take your pick. That was a failure. The sticky note is what you need to create that little handle for it. Okay, and I'm going to turn this over because this side is a lot nicer. And I should have, here it is, have a cozy Christmas. I'm going to stamp this in the garden green. We're almost done. Okay, not maybe the straightest, but it's pretty close. Now I'm going to adhere that. Let's see, I think I'll use dimensionals for this. I'm going to start getting a little bit more going on here with the layers and the, oh, this piece of white cardstock is really taking a beating. All right, so there we go. And I think I want to tie a bow. I find it easier sometimes just to tape or glue the thread to the back and then come back again to the front to do my bows. Okay, now I'm thinking out loud again here. Maybe, okay, I didn't tie it in a knot yet, so I can still do this. I think I'm going to make this a double bow because that gives it again a little bit more texture, and a single piece of the linen thread is a little bit more delicate, and I want this to be more rustic. As you know, I've said that word about 500 times already. Okay, so double. Yeah, that's what we want here. There we go. And where this is doubled, I'll snip it. Something like that. And then we have to finish it off with a mousse. And if I remember from last season when I made lots of mousse things, this is I think my first, no, I've used the mousse once this year. These mini dimensionals work really well to hold the mousse in place. So, and as all of you know, I don't like saggy bits on my card pieces, so no saggy bits allowed. All right, hurrah for effort. Thank you, Jackie. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Some of you are still there. That was so painful trying to get that. But yeah, it was a learning moment. We are all learning so much. All right, I'm calling it a card. So there we go. That's how you cut, long story short, that's how you cut these pieces of designer paper into the diagonal. And if you don't want to go with like the 3 3/4 and 5 inch, you want to just go with like the 4 and 5 1/4, just that little bit bigger. You don't need to have a mat like I've done. You can just go right sticking it onto your card base, but it's a lot of fun to play with, and I can't believe that I've never made these cards with the diagonal cuts before. So I encourage you to pull out your papers, because I know you all have stashes and stacks and whatnot of it, and have some fun with this. It's a great one to play with, because I sure, as you can see, I've been having loads of fun with it too. And thanks so much for watching tonight. If you have any questions, just give me a shout. I'm glad you like that, Elaine. I really appreciate all your comments. It's been good talking to you tonight. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you another day. Bye for now.